Aloha, it's Chef Nick, and today we're making a local favorite, apple banana bread with a Mac Nut Streusel. We're going to start by prepping the streusel, which is a crumbly sweet topping for our apple banana bread. In a bowl, combine half cup brown sugar, half a cup of flour, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a quarter cup of Mac nuts, 2 tablespoons sesame seeds, and a quarter cup of coconut flakes. Next, cut in a quarter cup of unsalted butter until the mix resembles coarse crumbs. You can use your hands or you can use a fork. I prefer my hands just because that it's easier for me to feel the crumbs in my hands of what I want them to be at. And also, if your butter is really cold, the warmth of your hands will actually help melt the butter a little bit better. Next, we're gonna add a tablespoon of rum and the alcohol will bake off. So the reason why I selected these ingredients, because they all work really well together. Like the coconut flakes and the rum works really well. The sesame seeds and the Mac nut complement each other. They're very nutty. And if you don't have Mac nuts at home, you can just use a lot of sesame seeds. I'm gonna throw this in the fridge to cool, and then we're gonna make the banana bread. Before we move on to the banana bread, I want to mention you can find ingredients to make this recipe at your neighborhood Foodland. And you can get this and other local favorite recipes at foodland.com. Next, we'll preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. In a bowl, cream 3/4 cups of softened unsalted butter and 1 2/3 cups sugar until it's light and fluffy. Add 2 large eggs to the mixture, one at a time, then mix in 2/3 of a teaspoon of vanilla. Next, we're gonna mash up some bananas. So here is some ripe apple bananas. We're gonna toss them in. We're using about 8 of them because of the size. They're pretty big. So the riper they are, the sweeter they will be. So now we're gonna mash the bananas. I'm using a spoon. Then here's a tip for you. If your bananas are ripe and you're not ready to bake banana bread yet, you can peel your bananas, put them in a Ziploc, and then freeze them. It's very important that you portion them before freezing them. That way it's easier for you when you make banana bread. Once they're mashed, fold it into the wet mixture. Yeah, it's gonna look like uncooked scrambled eggs, but this is how it's supposed to be. In another bowl, whisk together 2 3/4 cups of flour, 1 1/3 teaspoons of salt, and 1 1/3 teaspoons baking soda. Gently fold the dry mix into the wet mix until combined. And the reason why you want to add the dry into the wet, it's gonna be a lot easier to fold in the dry than it is to fold the wet into the dry. So as you can see right here, we're just gonna fold it in together. You wanna make sure you're folding and not mixing, otherwise you're gonna get a really tough banana bread. It should kind of look like when it's done, like scone batter almost. It's gonna be slightly thicker than your normal banana bread. It's gonna look like one big blob. So I'm gonna be using a loaf pan. You can grease it and line it with parchment paper, or you can use a non-stick one like I'm using right now. Then pour the batter into your loaf pans and top with the Mac Nut Streusel that we made earlier. So you want to make sure that when you put your batter in the loaf pan that you have about 1.5 inches of space from the top. That way it gives room for the bread to expand. There's never too much topping. Bake the bread for 45 to 55 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. So here's our freshly baked apple banana bread. It smells great, but to make sure it's done, I'm gonna test it with a toothpick. So if it comes out clean, you know it's done. So before slicing, I'm gonna let it cool slightly to let the streusel get crunchy. So this is why we use a non-stick pan. There we go, look at that. So here it is, apple banana bread. My favorite way to eat this is toasted with butter and crumbled over hapillo ice cream. Enjoy.